All America, all the time. Sit down, buckle up, and get ready for The Dan Bongino Show.
I haven't done a weekend update in a long time. I don't know what happened. I wasn't doing a lot during the weekends. You know, I getting back out of the past year in government, it was a lot going on. I had to get the show back rocking and rolling again. So it wasn't a lot of time to do anything other than work in the weekend. So I got to kind of chill a little bit this weekend. And I got a cool weekend up there. This story, this is so like something only I think I would do that happened this weekend. You're going to, I don't even know like how we wound up in this situation, but we did. It's kind of funny. And just a quick warning for you, too, in the beginning of the show, while we got most of you here, if you're watching on demand, please, if someone reaches out to you on email from like a Hotmail address or Gmail or anything, telling you they're me, or WhatsApp telling you they're me, it's not me. Listen to me. It's not me. My former colleagues gave me what's called a DTW, duty to warn call. There's some bad actors that are using my name to reach out to people and scam them out of money, try to get information from them, all kinds of stuff. It's not me. It is not me. Do not respond. I can't say this enough. Some guy on Twitter responded to me this morning. I can't believe I got scammed. That I did not reach out to you. I don't know why. It's not me. I promise you, it is not me. Everybody cool? Do not respond to any solicitations from anyone claiming to be me because it's not me. I got a crazy weekend update I'll get to you in a second. Big show day. Let's not become Europe, folks. Please, let's not become Europe. Europe is decaying. Europe, the UK are decaying into a civil rights madhouse right now. Let's not become them. I got some video. It's going to knock your socks off of some of the crap that went down this weekend. Hey, listen, my buddy Miles at Brickhouse Nutrition just announced they're doing 25% off everything. You want to lose weight? Try Lean. It's a great product. Try Field of Greens, too. Paula loves Creatone, which is specially formulated for women. It's their creatine product, Creatone. Visit brickhousenutrition.com. Enter thank you 25 for 25% off. That's brickhousenutrition.com. Love their products. Check them out. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Birch Gold. I'm an investor in gold, have been for a long time. When there were supply constraints on commodities, prices surged, just supply and demand. You saw it with fuel prices with the Strait, and now you know what else is a limited commodity? Gold. Here's what happens. They mine it out of the ground. As you know, when it's gone, it's gone. Governments can't just print more of it. That's why everyone from central banks to savvy savers are diversified with gold. Big fan of gold. If you've been thinking about it for years, you still, and you've never moved some of your savings into physical gold, now is the time. Birch Gold Group is who I trust to help you out. I use them too. Now through May 29th, Birch Gold is giving first-time gold buyers a rebate of up to $10,000 on qualifying purchases. For details and a free information kit on diversifying into gold, text Dan, my first name, to the number 989898. Check them out. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. Text Dan to the number 989898 to see if you qualify for a first-time gold buyer rebate of up to $10,000. Again, text Dan to 989898 today. Message and data rates apply. All right, fellas, let's go. So quickly, this weekend, Paul and I, after, 3-4 months back now, we decided we were going to take a little bit of a break this weekend. All right. So where do you think we went? Any guesses in the chat? Where we always go, we need a break. Where'd we go, Justin? Yes, to Morgan Wallen concert, of course. That was number 9 for us. We love us some Morgan Wallen. Thomas Rhett opened up. He crushed, too. It was a pretty badass concert. And it was up at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. You know, we love the Gators. Had to do the chomp when we were there. I don't think Morgan wanted to do the chomp. He's a Tennessee fan. But he walked out with Tim Tebow. Place goes crazy. Concert's a banger. Paula's got some crazy video. I hope she never discloses of me singing, which is really genuinely awful, but she thinks it's funny. So we're singing Chasing You. That's our favorite song and all. Bottom line is we get disconnected from our team, this team that was with us, right? On the way out. Why? Because there were like 70,000 people there. I can't find the team. Cell phone's not working. The pin drop's not working. Nothing's working. We're like sitting there. We're 5-6 miles away from the hotel. I'm like, hey, man, I don't know. We may just have to walk, whatever. No big deal. This guy, nicest guy, is like, hey, Dan. And by the way, people could not have been nicer. We must have taken like 500 selfies. People could not have been nicer, showing us their MAGA hats, grabbing us and everything. It was incredible. I had the best time ever. People were so nice. This guy's like, hey, Dan, what are you doing? And I said, man, we're looking for our team. We can't seem to find him. He's like, why? I said, you're trying to get back to the hotel? He's like, he's got this big pickup. He goes, I'm just waiting for my wife and kid that went to the concert. He's like, I'll drive you back. I said, no way. He said, yes way. He's like, get in the back. I look at Paula. Paula's like, you sure? I'm like, I trust this guy. I don't know. I just trust the guy. I get in the back of the truck, right? The guy calls his wife. He's like, you're never going to believe he's in the back of the truck. Dan Bongino's wife. She's like, what the hell are they doing there? It's like, we're giving him a ride back to the hotel. I'm like, the wife jumps in. She's like, I can't believe this. The kids jump. The kid's like, who are you? Kid's like 10 years old. He looks up in the face. Oh, the daughter. The daughter's like, hey, there's a boy and a girl. The daughter's like, oh, you're a radio guy or something. We're driving back to the hotel. We're caught in traffic. We're in the car like a half an hour. The guy starts playing Morgan. We're all singing in the car. It was like the greatest half an hour ever. Bottom line is, I'm not going to say his name, but thank you to the guy and the family. It was so nice to meet you. I gave him one of my coins. I told him we'd take care of him. So I really appreciate it. It was the best half hour ever. Paul and I got back to the hotel. We were like, you know what? That was like the greatest thing. I'm almost glad we got disconnected from our team. So there is the first weekend update I've done for you ever. I don't spend a lot of time on my personal life because honestly, who cares? I just thought that was really funny. This guy's like, you want to ride? I'm like, hell yeah. It turns out he knew the neighborhood too. He's cutting through like bank parking lots, getting us around all the traffic in Gainesville. Awesome. AAA72, glad you and Paula had a good time. Self-care is important. God bless. God bless you too. All right, now to the important stuff that happened. Folks, the MAGA movement is the GOP now. I titled today's show, Trump Wins, because Trump is won again. I don't know how many times we've got to tell the people trying to hijack our movement. The Republican Party is the MAGA movement now. That's just a fact. What am I talking about? I really try to stay out of Republican on Republican stuff as often as I can, except, there are some doomers and gloomers out there who decide to come after us. And if you're going to come after us, well, we're going to kick you back even harder. Sorry, that's just the way we roll. We always have, because we always win. After the Indiana primaries, where President Trump and his team went after a bunch of Indiana Republicans who just refused to do Republican stuff and won, you would think a guy like Bill Cassidy, a U.S. Senator from Louisiana who's consistently gone after Trump, would have learned his lesson. Cassidy did not. Cassidy is, and listen, you don't got to agree with President Trump on everything. I don't. We've had, disputes about certain issues on my show. He's never written me off. It's not about that. It's about just being like a thorn in the side for the sake of being a thorn in the side. None of this stuff is principled. Bill Cassidy is a sitting U.S. Senator, folks. Went down in flames in a primary this weekend. Actually finished third. Not second, third. So there's a runoff. Runoff's top two. He's not even in the runoff. Now, why did Bill Cassidy go down in flames? Because, again, there's a group of doomers and black pillars and do-nothing bullshitters trying to come into the Republican tent and hijack the movement to make us a more left-leaning identity politics party. We don't like the Jews. It's all this crap. You're not our movement. Get out. Get out. Now, Cassidy was not one of those guys. This is an impeachment guy. Another wing of the Republican Party. I don't like Donald Trump's style, so we're going to impeach him. Really? I thought that was for high crimes and misdemeanors, not personality crimes. Here's Cassidy back in 2021, February of 2021, on an interview with, I believe, ABC, talking about impeachment hoax 2, why Donald Trump needed to be impeached. Well, only one person lost their office, and it ain't Donald Trump, Bill. Check this out.
People want to trust. They want to trust their leaders. They want people to be held accountable. Now, I'm attempting to hold President Trump accountable. And that is the trust I have from the people that elected me. And I am very confident that as time passes, people will move to that position.
So you think you'll eventually represent a majority of you in Louisiana?
Number one, I think I may already represent a majority of you.
Do you think he can run a credible campaign for president again? Will he remain a force in the Republican Party? What does that mean for the Republican Party?
I think as force wanes, the Republican Party is more than just one person.
Ladies and gentlemen, of course, the Republican Party is more than just one person. Of course. But when one person does things to move the Republican Party into a winning position, advances the ball on crime, advances the ball on the border, advances the ball on the economy, advances the ball on tax cuts, advances the ball on shrinking government for the first time like ever, 300,000 federal employees now on a trimmed down, leaner, meaner government payroll. You got a Doge in there. Finally, the cuts, they're not enough. There's a star. Nobody's done anything. We finally have a guy in the White House, Maduro, Iran. We have a guy in the White House actually doing stuff instead of talking shit. We do trust that person, Bill, and it wasn't you. I don't like spending a lot of time on this stuff. I don't. However, I can't understand how people are still falling for this op. Here's why I say this, folks. There are knuckleheads out there who are just faking being part of our movement to try to steal the thing for their own left-wing causes, because they are left-wing causes. They are. But when you go out in the real world, and I haven't been out in the real world in a while, honestly, we've been working our butts off. I just do events with my daughter lately, and that's it. On the weekend, it's the first time I went out. People could not have been nicer. Overwhelmingly, like all of them. This is not the real world. You listen to these doomers and gloomers, and they're so full of shit. And honestly, Cassidy, taking it from it, was one of them. Donald Trump, this is an issue of character. People choose, I'm the majority. But you're not the majority position. You finished third. And by the way, to the Donald Trump haters out there, cut the bullshit like, oh, what do you have to kiss the ring? Bullshit. That is total bullshit. I know a lot of people in the Trump orbit who don't agree with him on every issue. He doesn't expect loyalty on every single issue. However, he does expect some loyalty to the cause of moving the Republican Party in a more conservative, prosperous direction. Cassidy's just reinventing Donald Trump. Oh my gosh, it's some maniacal man king. Here he is this weekend. He appeared on the Big Weekend Show, and Jason Chaffetz, former Republican congressman from Utah, just grills him on this impeachment question, and he won't answer. If you're so proud of what you did and you fell for the impeachment hoax and you think you're the better part of the Republican Party, then have some effing balls, man, and stand up and do something about it. Don't run from it like a chump. Check this out.
My question for you is still about Donald Trump. I mean, knowing what you know now, about the farce that was put forward to the American people and the Congress, knowing what you know now, would you still vote to actually convict Donald Trump of the charges that he was put up for?
Reporters always love to ask that question. I'm a doctor. You give me all the information I can, I make a decision, I move on. I don't keep on going back, oh, what happened 5 years ago? I'm thinking about what's going to happen 5 years from now.
Senator, with all due respect, you just talked about the stuff you've done for the last 5 years. You just touted everything you've done for the last 5 years. Why can't you answer that question? Would you or would you not actually vote to convict, knowing what you know now? It's a simple question.
Yeah, Jason, you may go back and flagellate yourself over decisions in the past. I do not. I move on. By the way, what I'm talking about is not just the present, it is the future. By the way, the future also includes that if somebody wants somebody working for the state of Louisiana for the future, not fixated on the past, then polls close at 8 o'clock tonight. Get out there and vote.
That's not the point, bro. That's not the point at all. The point is he's asking you to acknowledge, knowing what you know now, that both of the impeachment efforts against Donald Trump are hoaxes. Would you reevaluate the situation given the current inputs, which are now better inputs than bullshit inputs you had making the decision last time? He doesn't even want to answer the question. Folks, he finished third. He is a sitting United States senator. Do you have any idea how hard it is to unseat in a primary a sitting United States senator, no less a congressman? Senators are even harder. Their terms are 3 times as long. For the liberals listening, a representative in the House, it's a 2-year term. Senators have 6-year terms. That's a lot of time to build up goodwill with constituents in a state, and it's a ton of time to raise a bunch of money. He finished third, man. Now, you've got another test of the Donald Trump endorsement coming tomorrow in Kentucky with the Tom Massey, Ed Galrine. We had Ed on, the Patriot, decorated military service. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Again, I try to stay out of this Republican on Republican stuff because there were so many bigger fights. However, there are people in our tent trying to steal away our movement, and you should give them the double barrel and be like, no, this isn't your movement. You don't get in here after we've been at this, knocking on doors, some of us running for office, raising money for causes, being activists. You don't get to walk in, into the tent and hijack the movement as your own. It's not yours. You could start a different movement, see how much power you have. Clearly, the Cassidy movement wasn't working. Folks, Donald Trump's records from 45 to 47, records of achievement are substantial. When put up against the marker of history, he is going to be one of the most decisive, influential forget about Republican presidents we've had in modern times. There's no disputing that. The world has changed because of him. The world has changed because of him. A complete reevaluation of what was the global order and the managed decline of the United States. That's over. Rubio said something about that. Did I send you guys that tweet? I don't even. But Rubio said something. No, we are not going to be stewards of a managed decline of the United States anymore. The preeminent America First movement, that is a Donald Trump-led movement. You don't get to hijack this stuff. Because if you're not careful, folks, we're going to turn into the UK and Europe. Did you see what happened this weekend? Ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you, I'm glad I went to London a couple of years ago, because I got to tell you something. I'm not messing around either. I'm a little worried about ever going back that I won't be surveilled or even worse over there now. My dealings with their law enforcement people were fantastic. They were very professional. I just want to be clear with that. However, here's Keir Starmer. Warning this group there was a big protest in the United Kingdom this weekend, basically against unfettered illegal immigration, the attack on civil liberties in the UK. You're getting arrested for tweeting now. Rubio declares new Western century in world speech, says America won't oversee the managed decline. You're damn right. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Do not become the UK or Europe, or you're going to have guys like this. Here's Keir Starmer basically warning people against protesting. Yeah, this is a real thing. Check this out.
My government will not stand in the way of peaceful protest, but we will act decisively against hatred. We will use the full force of the law when that hatred manifests as violence. And we will ban those coming into the UK who seek to stir it up, as we have done already. Because this country belongs to all of us. And I will not tolerate anyone who seeks to stand in the way of that.
He won't tolerate it? It's like the words of King George or something. What is he talking about? We won't tolerate hatred. Who gets to define what hatred is? Because the only hatred I saw at the rally was a bunch of left-wing lunatic counter-protesters who were talking about shooting Tommy Robinson, one of the organizers, in the neck like Charlie Kirk. No! That's repulsive. They didn't say that. Receipts incoming. Who's this content creator? Yeah. Samara Gill. You think this didn't happen? Receipts incoming right now. These are the lunatic counter-protesters. These sound like the people full of hate, Keir Starmer. Do not let this stuff come here. And the bulwark against it is the Trump, Rubio, Vance team. That's the bulwark against it. Vance has been warning about this. Vice President Vance, the disgusting decay of civil liberties in Europe and the UK for a long time. Here, watch these crazy people, counter-protesters. This is hatred. Check this out.
Excuse me, should we shoot Tommy Robinson in the neck? No. Okay.
Get your clip elsewhere.
So they've just said that they want to hang Tommy Robinson and shoot him in the neck like Charlie Kirk. It's getting very aggressive.
Thank you, Samara Gill, for exposing this stuff. That's the real hatred. Do not let this stuff come here, folks. Do not let this stuff come here. This is why people are so afraid of Donald Trump and his America First agenda, because Donald Trump is the first president in a long time on the Republican side. to cut through the euphemistic, politically correct bullshit and say, if the rest of the world was as great as America, they'd be America. Every single person is a child of God. It is not a reflection of the people. However, it is a reflection of the organizing principle nation states have. Nation states that have shitty governments wind up producing a population of people where a lot of problems develop. That is not the United States. The United States has its issues like anywhere else, but we are the wealthiest, most prosperous free country on earth. We do not have to pretend anymore that American exceptionalism, like Obama said, just like Greek exceptionalism. It is not. It is not. You have elections coming up. You've got the midterms. You've got this LA mayor's race where this Spencer Pratt has been basically highlighting the contrast between what the future will look like under this left-wing totalitarian violence or right-wing economic freedom, personal freedom, and liberty. You got to paint the picture for people. You've got to show people what it looks like. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but this guy's ad team, the Spencer Pratt Los Angeles mayor's race, is just epic. This is just a PhD level course in political advertising. Did you see the latest spot? They're doing Lego ads now or something. This must be I don't know if it's his team or just random people on the internet, but this stuff is just crazy. Check this out.
Brad lost everything. Watch the flames take everything. But instead of looking down, he's exposing this whole town. Spencer Pratt is fighting. Pratt is rising. He's gonna save LA's dreams.
That's Shelled SA on Axis. You folks, there is a new, I'm going to play another one of these tomorrow in the New York governor's race with Kathy Hochul. This AI, and I got a clip on this coming up later, this AI explosion is going to create an entirely new era of contrast, snapshots, and sound bites in political advertising that's going to enable you to do things you were never able to do before in a budget like this. I don't know how much that costs. I assume it's not that much. You know what political video ads take to make? My gosh, when I was running out in that congressional race, they cost a fortune. Folks, do not become Europe. Do not. You just have to listen to the other side. When they tell you who they are, the Democrats, that they want us to become Europe and the UK, dissipate our civil liberties, engage in totalitarianism, take your money. They want to hike your gas prices and your gas taxes. Just listen to them. I got video coming up right now. Did you see what happened at the Democrat governor's race in the debate? I'm going to take a quick break here, and then I'm going to get to that. They're telling you. They are running on one thing. Donald Trump, affordability. Hey, do you guys want to drill? Nah, F it, we don't want to drill. I thought you were talking about affordability. Just listen to them. They're telling you who they are. You want to be more like Europe and the UK? Just listen to the Democrats say it. Quick break and we'll get right back to it. As you can tell, I slept great last night. I needed it, man. Oof. Got to sleep late after that Morgan concert. I was hurting. I was Friday night. I was still recovering on Sunday. And I was standing for a long time and realized my knee blew up. So I needed a good night's sleep. Thankfully, I have a Helix mattress, HELIX. I've had one for 10 years. I'm my third one now. Spring always flips a switch for me. You want things lighter, cleaner, a little more dialed in. That includes how I sleep, how you sleep. Before swapping furniture or tackling a full reset, fixing your mattress changes everything. Everything. Sleep is the ultimate life hack. You know I'm into these maha moments. If you're dealing with sore mornings, lower back pain, get up, knees hurt, whatever, and nights that never fully settle, Helix mattresses, they are a game changer. Paul and I have the Midnight Lux, our second one. We had one up in D.C. too. And the difference was immediate. I used to wake up tight and uncomfortable, bad night's sleep. Mattress just wasn't right. Like soft spots in it and stuff. Not that. Not the Midnight Lux. We love it. It's like my body never fully shut off. Now I wake up actually rested on my Helix mattress. Even my sleep tracker can back it up there. More deep sleep. The REM sleep's been great. Fewer wake-ups and mornings that don't feel like a struggle every day. What makes Helix stand out is that it's built around how you sleep. With over 20 mattress models, there's no guessing. You're matched to the right one, plain and simple. They make the process super easy with free shipping, a 120-night sleep trial, a limited lifetime warranty, and zero pressure. That's how confident they are in the product. So go today. Go to helixsleep.com/Dan for 27% off site-wide exclusive for Dan Bongino Show listeners. That's helixsleep.com/Dan for 27% off site-wide. And make sure to enter my show name after checkout so they know we sent you. helixsleep.com/Dan. Get a good night's sleep. It's the ultimate life hack. Thank you, Helix Sleep. Here's what I mean. Here in the Democrat governor's race, separate from the mayor's race, obviously, but same lunatics on the Democrat side, they ask a simple question. Hey, man, all you knuckleheads on the Democrat side keep talking about like affordability as if the Iranians getting a nuclear bomb and launching it at the United States wasn't a pressing generational threat we needed to take care of. Nobody likes high gas prices. We get it. But they'll come down once the situation resolves, and hopefully that happens soon. But there's no denying this was a very real threat. The Democrats can do something about it right now. They can lower California's ridiculously high gas price, and they could actually drill for oil. You know, like from the ground to turn it into gas, like for your car. Here's the Democrats. You're going to hear, if you're listening on audio only, Steve Hilton first, Chad Bianco, the two Republicans, say, yeah, of course we would drill. We need oil. Then listen to the Democrat clowns. I thought they cared about affordability. Check this out.
As governor, would you increase drilling off the coast of California? Yes or no?
Yes, we have to lower gas prices.
Thank you. Mr. Steyer.
No way.
Ms. Porter.
No.
Mr. Bianco.
Yes.
Mr. Villaraigosa.
No.
Mr. Becerra.
Absolutely not.
Mr. Mahan.
No.
These guys and ladies are full of I thought they wanted to lower gas prices, but they don't want to lower California's ridiculously high gas tax. They don't want to drill for any more oil. Have you ever heard of supply or demand? Listen to me, folks. Republicans are not the solution to all of your problems. I understand that. We have an imperfect party too. We got some people in it who are completely lost, Cassidy and others. I get it. I'm just telling you, to the people out there voting in Spencer Pratt's race, the mayor's race, the California gubernatorial, Kentucky tomorrow or elsewhere, do you care about productive spreadsheets policies where things actually happen, or bullshit, flowery campaign speeches? They can fix the gas price thing. They don't want to. Why aren't they doing it, Producer Jim? Because they don't want to. What? Oh, he's got the sneakers on, trying to be the cool guy, the billionaire Steyer. I thought they hated billionaires. Look at him. Good catch. He's got the cool, wear sneakers, whatever. Just stop trying to be like the cool guy. It's all an act. It's always dancing with the left. You ever notice that? Affordability. It's all a dance. What are you doing about affordability? Nothing. It's all a dance with them all the time. It's never real. Why would you vote for this party? I don't understand. Nothing they tell you they're going to do, they're actually going to do. Here, you want to see an article? This is like one of those pieces I throw in the show. I promise almost no one else is going to cover. It was a great op-ed in the Wall Street Journal. It didn't get a lot of traction, but it should. If you ever want an article that nails down how full of shit the modern Democrat liberal progressive movement is, read this article. Washington State's pension rate. I don't care about Washington State's pension rate. You should. Washington State has this pension plan, the state pension plan for cops and firemen. And using free market capitalist financial management, it's one of the few pension plans in the country that was unbelievably well managed, so much so that these cops and firemen, their pensions are really well protected in the future because the fund was well funded and earned revenue due to good financial management. What's the problem, Dan? The state of Washington, led by a bunch of big government anti-capitalists who claim to hate capitalism, are now pissed off that the cops and firemen using capitalism got a good return on their pension fund. So the state of Washington is trying to steal the money from them to put back into the fund to fund their big government bullshit. How are you falling for this in Washington? I thought you guys hated capitalism. But you love it when it earns enough revenue for the fund. And then when you're trying to take care of the public servants, the hero cops and firemen, you screw them over by raiding their pension because capitalism saved you? How stupid do you have to be to keep falling for this bullshit? You ever hear this term in like the crypto space and elsewhere, the rug pull? Where people like in stock trading too, they pull the rug on you. The Democrat Party is a big rug pull. It is a nonstop dance. You keep falling for this shit, we will be the UK. Hate speech bans. Who gets to define what hate speech is? How crazy, how bad does it have to be, by the way, when even CNN's starting to notice? I think this LA mayor's race has really put into perspective the blue city liberal government's apocalypse happening into the United States, happening in even CNN starting to notice. Here's a quick Fareed Zacharias segment where he's like, hey, man, I got to be honest with you. This blue city liberal stuff ain't really working out. This is CNN. This is CNN, not the Dan Bongino show. Well, it's CNN on the Dan Bongino. Check this out.
New York is really a prime example of a problem Democrats seem unwilling to confront. Blue cities are out of control, promising more, spending more, delivering less, and pushing off the fiscal problems to some future day. Take Los Angeles, another one-party metropolis wrestling with affordability and disorder. The city's homelessness budget for fiscal year 2025-26 totals about $950 million. The LA Homelessness Services Authority reported that in 2023, homelessness was up 9% countywide and 10% in the city. And a 2024 AP account noted that homelessness has surged 70% countywide since 2015 and 80% in the city. All this amid public frustration despite billions spent. An audit reviewed $2.4 billion in city homelessness funding and found that officials could not reliably track where it went or what it achieved.
Folks, it's like they're providing homeless fertilizer with the billion spent. It's like they're trying to grow the homelessness problem. At what point on the left, or if you're on the right thinking about voting for the left, do you actually ask them for a result? What entity do you give this kind of money? What business, what charity, where you would demand nothing in return? Imagine giving to a charity, combat homelessness in South Florida where I live. And then they come back to you next year with an email and go, hey, great news. Homelessness is up 80%. You'd be like, what the But with government, it's considered perfectly okay. Because this is what happens when you decide you want to open your border, by the way, let the entire world, in a sense of, as God said, suicidal empathy, let everybody in. Listen, give us your tired, your poor. That's a poem. That's not a policy. Don't give us your tired and your poor. Give us your productive and energetic. That's a cute poem. Give us your productive and energetic, or else you are engaged in global suicidal empathy. You want to see what it looks like? Here's a GB News report. I'm really loving their content. One of the reporters goes out and he's talking to one of these migrants in the UK about, hey man, you think like we're a bunch of rich people who can just give away stuff? And the guy's like, yeah, you guys should just give us stuff like free houses. No, we don't owe anybody anything. You owe your family, your kids, and their community. You want to be the third world, keep voting for Democrats, and you're going to be the third world. Check this out.
Should English people pay for you to have a house?
Maybe they give me house, they give me anything I can need, they give me.
Just give it?
Yeah.
Why?
Because people in England is perfect.
Oh, so you think we're all rich people,
Yeah.
so we can give? Okay.
We're not giving anybody everything. Give us your active, energetic, smart, and productive folks. This is the real world, man. It's not a Teletubbies episode. It's not sharing is caring like the old fat dinosaur, Barney. Was that his name, Barney? Bubbles, whatever his name was. Barney Bubbles. Remember? Sharing's. No. Yeah, share with your family and your community. We don't need any more of this. Because what's happening? Some of these people come in here with this European multipolar model. The United States should be thrown. There should be multiple poles of power. No, there shouldn't. We're the United States, the most benevolent country on earth. We should be the unipolar power because we should win, correct? Is the Indy 500 coming up? There's a pole position. You want to win it, correct? You don't want to be number 2. You want to be number one. That's what being a unipolar power means. Whenever you hear multipolar, you're hearing leftist mumbo jumbo. Take it, roll it up in a ball, and throw it right in the garbage. We are the winner. We're the pole position. We do not need to import the entire third world to show the world in the sense of suicidal empathy how nice and cute we are, because it's not nice, because people get hurt. Receipts incoming again. Here's Jim Jordan, one of the good guys up on the Hill, congressman from Ohio. Here he is questioning the Fairfax County, Virginia district attorney, who apparently is one of these multipolar open border guys who gives a special set of rules, I guess, to illegals who get arrested in his system. And something really bad happened, which always happens when you engage in this suicidal empathy. Here's Jim Jordan calling him out. Check this out.
Well, sir, your statements about don't want to prosecute guys is absolutely false. And my policies so far in this hearing...
Are you saying what the sheriff wrote me is wrong?
No, what I'm saying is that the way that my policies have been
December 16th,
presented in this
you chose
outrageous.
She said the Commonwealth's attorney, that's you, chose not to prosecute Mr. Morales-Ortiz on December 16th, and they had to release him. They had to do their job because you wouldn't prosecute. What happened on December 17th, Mr. Descano?
Well, sir, let's talk about December 16th.
No, that's the question. What happened on December 17th? This same guy murdered somebody. This guy murdered somebody.
Yes, people freaking die, folks. Horrible, tragic deaths when we engage in this bullshit Keir Starmer, multipolar, liberal, Pollyanna-ish, dream world, utopian bullshit. This president's the first one to speak like a normal person in normal terms. You want to come here? Great. My wife's an immigrant to the country. She's been nothing but productive. She's a web designer in a high-tech space, managed strategic communications for a huge company. She contributed. You want to come here? Be active, productive, smart, and energetic. Earn your spot like everyone else did. You don't earn. Really? My mother was she worked the checkout counter in a supermarket. I said it 1,000 times. My father was a plumber. Don't bullshit me like I was given some silver spoon, okay? You got to earn it, man. And yet you got a bunch of freaking rage bots on Twitter, likely financed, by the way, by foreign money, not all, but a lot of them, trying to infiltrate our party, make you believe we should be like open borders, new suicidal, empathetic Republicans. We should let all these people in, and that's our principles. You know what our principles are? America first. That's our principles. Here's a guy I really enjoy his commentary, talking about the rage bot phenomenon. I bring this up too for another reason. Like I said, I don't get out that often. I just don't. It's no big deal. I just don't. But going to that concert this weekend and seeing all those amazing people and just like getting to look them in the face and talk to normal people, it was really rewarding. And it reminds me, like, if you spend a lot of your time on social media, like I do for show prep and elsewhere, sometimes you start believing this stuff is real, folks. And you start to believe our party's somehow being hijacked by a bunch of folks. And you're not the minority. You're not the minority. You were the overwhelming majority. Bill Cassidy learned that the hard way. So did a bunch of Indiana Republicans. Here's Nick Freitas talking about the rage bot phenomenon. If you're on X, you've seen this. It was crazy this weekend. Check this out.
It says, or anything Joe Kent says. When they were going through that, I would say, I understand this criticism of Israel, but I don't understand this criticism of Israel. I would watch the comments just fill up with, you're paid off, you're a Goya, you're a Jew boy. Did you get your 7,000 shekels? And I'm looking at that going, that's a left-wing way of arguing. The left-wing way of arguing is, I'm not going to engage with your arguments. I'm going to question your character or your motivations or your intent. And it's like, yeah, that's what the left does. Anytime you bring up anything, they call you a racist, a bigot, or a sexist. Why? Because they're trying to rob you of moral credibility so they don't have to engage with your arguments.
Folks, you see it every single day. Do not fall prey to the rage bots. Keep grounded. Stay grounded. Stay compass true north every time. This party has a set of values and inviolable principles. Think about it like a treehouse. Clubhouse rules. We don't discriminate against people according to their religion, period. Their religion. It doesn't matter what the religion is. We don't do that. We don't discriminate according to skin color or any of this other bullshit. People trying to pull you into this identity politics, multipolar bullshit, scrap them and throw them right in the garbage. That is not our party. Folks, the rage bots are not a reflection of what's going on in the real world. Be proud, stand tall. President Trump's record is incredible. There's more to get done. We've got 2.5 years left. There is more to do. However, the nothing is happening crowd is the bedrock of the rage bot agenda that want you mad at the MAGA movement because they want to fraction off their own MAGA movement and grow it, but it's not MAGA. So they have to tell you the original MAGA movement is failing because nothing is happening. Here's a tweet by Seb Gorka this week. I thought nothing was happening. Again, the left-wing media and the rage bots said, President Trump, their old FBI, the DOJ, they weren't doing anything about counterterrorism. They're just focused on crime now. That's kind of crazy because all this happened in the last 24 hours. We got, nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. These guys put a lot of work into the nothing is happening file. Maybe it should be a syndicated TV show like the X-Files. Here's what happened over the weekend. And last week, late on Thursday night, FBI agents locked up Mohammed al-Sadi in handcuffs, the leader of an Iran-backed Iraqi terror group allegedly responsible for more than 20 attacks across Europe and Canada and for planning attacks in the U.S. I don't know that was happening. What do you want? You guys just want to let this guy attack more people? Everyone's innocent till proven guilty. We get it, but a pretty big arrest. Also, they locked up Jose Enrique Martinez Flores, the highest-ranking TDA leader to be extradited to the U.S., landed in the U.S. in shackles. You're damn right he did. That was just this past week. Here's a Fox segment on al-Sadi. Folks, this was a serious threat. This stuff is happening. Donald Trump is the law and order counter-terror president. You've never lived in a safer country than you live in right now. Those are just numerical, objective facts. But I thought nothing was happening. This is doomerism meant to psychologically, this is a psyop. It's an operation meant to get you before the midterms pissed off at the lack of action, despite action staring you right in the face. Overwhelming amounts of action. Check this out.
32-year-old Mohammed al-Sadi is facing 6 counts of terrorism-related charges, and prosecutors say he was plotting attacks on Jewish targets in Arizona, Los Angeles, and New York, and that he worked with groups that were affiliated with Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani posted this on X last week. I'm grateful to our NYPD and federal law enforcement partners for disrupting an alleged plot involving a senior member of Kataib Hezbollah. Let me be clear. Anti-Semitism, violent extremism, and terrorism have no place in our city. This kind of hate is despicable. The Department of Justice showed a social media post allegedly from al-Sadi there showing the U.S. Capitol in rubble.
It's not just that, folks. There are other things happen. How many people in the audience? Folks in the chat, this is for you. This is probably like a question that of this show, if any show doesn't need to be asked, but I'm going to ask you in a minute. How many care about the Second Amendment? I know I do, because if you don't have the big R God-given right, which you do, to defend yourself, then you're just prey for the bad guys who don't give a damn about the Second Amendment, guns, gun control, gun rights, any of that stuff. There's no such thing as gun control. They don't care about that. Yes, American flags in the chat. Just about everybody, including our 56,500 people tuning in right now, care about the Second Amendment. Because if you don't have the right to defend yourself, you have nothing. It doesn't really matter the tax rate because you're freaking dead. Justin, do dead people pay taxes? He said no, but actually they probably do. Unless they vote for Joe Biden. That's right. Yes, American flags in the chat. The Second Amendment matters. Why am I bringing this up in the Nothing is Happening file segment? Because again, more things that they tell you aren't happening, the doomers, that are happening that they won't tell you about because they're not interested in what's happening. They're interested in getting you to not vote. Did you see what happened in Colorado with this ridiculous magazine restriction? The Department of Justice found the Trump Department of Justice, by the way, found a very novel way for you Second Amendment advocates to make things happen, where they can use some existing civil rights legislation to sue the state of Colorado. Hat tip to my friend Chris, who sent this over the weekend. I'd seen the story, but I hadn't seen this video. This explains what happened. Here again is more stuff happening. Check this out.
The Department of Justice just sued Colorado over its magazine ban. They're using a civil rights law created after the Rodney King beating to do it. This isn't just another Second Amendment lawsuit. The DOJ is using a federal law from 1994 that was originally designed to go after police departments accused of violating constitutional rights. And until now, it had never been used to defend the Second Amendment. Colorado bans magazines holding more than 15 rounds. The DOJ says enforcing that law violates the Second Amendment, and because state troopers and CBI agents are the ones enforcing it, the federal government claims they're engaged in a pattern or practice of violating people's constitutional rights. In other words, the DOJ is treating enforcement of Colorado's gun law like a civil rights issue. And here's where it gets even more interesting, you guys. Part of the DOJ's case actually uses Colorado's own past court filings against the state. Years ago, Colorado acknowledged that these magazines are commonly owned across the country and by millions of people in Colorado itself. Now, the DOJ is saying if they're commonly owned, they may be constitutionally protected.
More happening from the nothing is happening file that they don't tell you about. I thought some of these people running were big civil libertarians. That's what they cared about. It's interesting how they don't want to tell you about any of this stuff as they're constantly shitting on everyone around. Oh, we do it better. What have you done? You're not doing it. A lot of these folks said the real ones, respect, period. Love you. To the fake ones, doomers trying to get in our movement because they don't like a group of people, whatever it is. It's interesting how you always leave this stuff out. Folks, we are living in a really, really dangerous time. I got a lot more coming up. I got the Maha moment. I got just a killer segment on AI. I'm going to take a quick break and I'm going to get back to this because, folks, something happened in Italy this week you need to be very concerned about. Serious time now, okay? We are in a really, really, I don't like because I'm not trying to induce any panic in you, God forbid. But we do have to be real about the threats. We need information moving forward because there are some threats. If we don't have information, I'm just going to deliver the bad news. We can't stop. We can't. No, not if we don't stop it on the information front. I'll show you what I mean because two things happened this weekend. It involves cars and it involves drones. And once you see it, you'll understand exactly what I'm saying. Last break, right back to the show. Speaking of which, folks, it's time to get prepared. Listen, I'm sorry, but when emergency breaks bad, if you can't take care of your family, I can't afford to take care of other people. I got to take care of my family first. Preparewithdan.com. My Patriot Supply is where you go for emergency prepared equipment, emergency food. Listen, if the last few years have taught us anything, it's that the systems we rely on can break down. They have. We've seen it, whether it was Hurricane Katrina, you've seen attacks on the grid, cyber attacks. My Patriot Supply is America's original Patriot preparedness company. I buy products from them all the time. I've already told them you can put my receipts out there, just leave my credit card number off it. They've helped over 3 million American families get prepared since 2008 with more than 90,000 five-star reviews, the best preparedness company on the planet. They've got a special offer right now you really need to check out. When you get their flagship solar backup generator, the ultra-powerful Grid Doctor 3300, you'll also get over $1,000 worth of survival essentials absolutely free. So you're prepared. 4 weeks of emergency food, water filtration, all the critical needs, and much more, all free. It's all in stock and ready to ship right now. But with everything going on right now, there's no telling how long it'll be available. So go to preparewithdan.com right now to see everything you can get for free. That solar power generator is critical. Don't wait until it's too late. Get your complete preparedness set up today at preparewithdan.com. Do not wait. Preparewithdan.com. Folks, the threats are evolving, okay? They're very real. You have to be prepared. However, information warfare is going to be the key going forward. Now, being an actual civil libertarian, I've said this many times and I'll repeat it again, during my tenure in government over the past year, was very concerned about surveillance technology. Everything from no-touch malware. You know what no-touch malware is? The ability to send you something on your phone, whether you touch it or not. No-touch malware. They've got your whole phone. It is really troubling. We put a number of heavy restrictions in place on the use of this technology. However, there are times, I think we can all agree, if you have probable cause to believe that there's going to be a terror attack on American soil, that we need to use this technology, correct? We used to, we've been using Title IIIs and wiretaps forever, as long as it passes judicial scrutiny and good guardrails on civil liberties. Why am I talking about cars and drones right now? Because there's nothing you can do about them to make them illegal. You can make the purchase of, let's say, ANFO, ammonium nitrate and fuel oil to make a bomb, an ANFO bomb, above certain amounts. You can put certain restrictions in place, make sure construction companies use them. There's nothing you can do about cars. You can't make the purchase or use of cars illegal, nor would you want to. So if people are going to use cars and attack, we've already seen it on Bourbon Street. This is not new. It's happened here. Was it the Sugar Bowl a few years ago? We've seen it already. If we can't stop the use of a car in a terror attack, then how do we stop? We have to stop it either at the border, keeping these people out of the country. We expanded the use of biometrics during our time at the FBI there to make sure we had biometrics of people overseas before they even got on the plane. You have to keep them out, or you're going to see something like this that happened in Italy this weekend. Folks, let me just warn you before we play this on VO voiceover here. It's not easy to watch if you have kids in the room. But this is another vehicle attack. We have seen hundreds of these around the world. Oh, man, look at this. And it goes on. And again, I'm sorry, but if you don't see what I'm talking about, I don't want to sugarcoat it. Look at this. It's just horrendous, folks. This has already happened over and over and over again. This is why I'm telling people, like, you have to have an FBI, DOJ, DEA, a CIA that roundly respects, and in big, bold, bright colors respects civil liberties. But once we get information, we have to have the tools to go after these people, because all they have to do is make a turn on the street and mow people down, and there's nothing you can do. Here's a hero bystander tackling the driver after the bloody car and knife rampage in Italy this weekend. You can't stop this stuff with traditional tactics. You can track, a nuclear weapon. You can, track if you see a pattern of suspicious purchases and you have probable cause to believe someone's a bad guy. You can't stop someone from making a right turn on Bourbon Street. Drones are the same problem. Now, I think the threat from this, we're going to have to let it flesh out. I don't like panic stories. However, I saw this story at Axios this weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, really disturbing. There's a community note on it, which I think is accurate. Exclusive. Cuba's acquired more than 300 military drones and began discussing using them to attack U.S. assets. Now, the community note, I think, is fair. U.S. officials do not believe Cuba is an imminent threat or actively planning attacks, with drone discussions only in the case of deteriorating relations. However, even the community note, what does deteriorating relations mean? This is a real threat. You've seen it in real time. You're never going to stop drones. The explosive growth of this technology through deliveries, surveillance systems. When I say surveillance systems, don't assume I mean law enforcement. Bridge engineers are using this to surveil the paint job on a bridge so they don't have to send someone up to the top now. This is an unbelievably valuable technology, but there is a danger. Did you see what happened in Moscow this weekend? Yeah, like Moscow, Russia, for the liberals. The Ukrainians are not starting. You've been using drones for a long time. This is some footage from a drone attack in Russia. Folks, we better get ready for this quick, man. You're not going to be able to stop this stuff without a good, solid, strong information warfare. Do you want a guy like Donald Trump in charge who understands the civil liberties component, but also understands the need in information warfare to intercept these people before they get to the country? Make sure. And by the way, if you are a non-U.S. citizen outside of U.S. territories, our states, you do not have the protections of the Constitution. That is not for you. We are allowed to gather intel, and we should. Does anybody dispute that? The Constitution's not a global document. It's a governing document for the United States. You're planning a terror attack in the Sahel. And you're not a U.S. citizen, not on U.S. soil. We have no obligation to provide you any constitutional protection whatsoever. Do you want them in charge, or you want Dancing Guy in charge and these other guys? Folks, there's a serious party governing right now that has a spreadsheet full of results they can run on. Look what we did. And then there's a party talking about affordability. You guys want to drill? Nah, I don't want to drill. You want to lower gas prices? Nah, I don't want to do that either. There's a pension crisis. So why are you raiding the pensions in Washington? Everything Donald Trump does at the border, he's a racist. Really? You want to stop these people? You want to let them in mowing people down on Bourbon Street again? shooting up our National Guard members, lighting people on fire in Colorado. You want that? I don't want it. That's the evolving threat. I only bring up dancing guy. Do you have that Justin Pierce video? Because here's this guy again, this legislator in Tennessee. I just want you to be reminded here, okay? You can look this up, by the way, receipts matter. We did this huge operation called Operation Viper, where we sent a whole bunch of FBI assets into Memphis, where this guy, he's a Tennessee legislator, this joker, moron, this guy doing the whole dance routine. We never heard a word from this guy because he doesn't give a shit about results. He never called us. Hey, what can we do to clean up my city for my constituents? Let's reach across the state and federal divide and fix it. He never did shit. All he does is dance. Here's some more video of him getting pissed off at a hearing, confronting a guy. Another fake tough guy. Look at this. Look at this guy. Clown, joker. Another coward. Total chump. He's a fake tough guy. Oh, please stop me. I get so sick of these clowns. Fake tough guy, loser. You're busy dancing now. Never called us one time. To the citizens of Memphis being mowed down by gangs and drug slingers, I want you to know this clown, the dancer, fake tough guy, I just want you to know this guy never called us one time. Never heard a word from him. He's full of shit, this guy. Actor, dancing, all the time. That's all they do. You want the dance or you want results? Folks, technology's there. It's not going anywhere. And I want to address another uncomfortable topic. I know it's not easy for a lot of you to hear. I've said it. You've heard me say it over and over. I am concerned, not panicked, but concerned about where artificial intelligence is going to go. I don't like black holes of information. And the hard reality is some, not all, but some of the technology in AI, even the inventors of it can't explain exactly how it works. It is a black box in some respects. Some of the new developments in AI are frightening. However, I am here to give you the hard truth and the reality of the situation, which is this. If other countries develop advanced AI systems before us, we are all freaking dead. End of story. We do not have a choice. We can fight back or we can get dead. And I'm not getting dead. That is it. There is no option C that says stand back, don't develop any kind of cloud computing systems, don't develop AI. That is not an option. We will be dead, make no mistake. They will develop an AI cyber infiltration attack that wipes out our industrial control systems and our grid, and you're going to turn on your faucet and there ain't going to be no water. We don't have a choice. We can either be a unipolar leader in this space or we can be dead. That is just a hard reality of the situation. Here's Ken Griffin from Citadel talking about how AI now is growing at this, people overuse the word exponential in terms of how mathematics of it would work. He's not kidding here. There's linear progression, arithmetic progression, and geometric exponential progression. This stuff is blowing up by the day. We cannot be in a multipolar environment here or we'll be dead. Check this out.
In the last few months, there has been a step change function in the productivity of the AI toolkit. It is profoundly more powerful than it was just 9 months ago. And it has been really interesting to watch, to be blunt, work that we would usually do with people with masters and PhDs in finance over the course of weeks or months being done by AI agents over the course of hours or days. So these are not mid-tier white-collar jobs. These are like extraordinarily high-skilled jobs being, I'm going to pick a word, being automated by agentic AI. You could just see how this was going to have such a dramatic impact on society.
Folks, I wish I could give you a cute little like Emily Dickinson poem right now about how great it's all going to be, and there's going to be no want, and there's going to be no downsides, and everything's going to be free. No, there is a downside. This stuff can be very dangerous. There's no doubt. There are big trillion-dollar companies that are finding out the hard way. Was it Google or something? They ran one of these AI programs, and I forget who it was, but found like major flaws in their system that would have taken forever. You don't think there are foreign governments doing this now? You're seeing also this regional Democrat effort to push back against AI as if there's no consequence to losing this fight. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of when I was a kid. The whole like no nukes thing. No nukes is great. I wish there were no nuclear weapons. That's not the world we live in. Do you remember the 1980s? The no nukes movement? Justin's like, I wasn't even born in 1980. I was like 10 in 1984. I remember the Reagan years well. No nukes, Star Wars. That's not the world we live in. Right, good point, Jess. I'm sure screaming in the streets. I'm seeing the same thing with AI. You can deal with this nuclear technological weapon. Oh yeah, it was Google. I was right. See, I'm not crazy. Google says criminal hackers used AI to find a major software flaw. I knew I wasn't nuts. You can deal with this nuclear level life-changing technology, or you can go hide in a corner, pretend it's not there, and get freaking dead, just like we would have already been dead if we would have had no nukes while the Soviets built up their nuclear arsenal under Andropov, Gorbachev, and others. Reagan said, like Trump's saying now, we've got to handle this like adults. Started with him meeting with Gorbachev in Geneva and later Reykjavik, where he was like, hey, man, we're going to deal with the world as it is, or we're going to bullshit people. You're seeing it now regionally, too. New York, and we don't want any cloud computing. Fine, they'll come down to Miami and elsewhere. We need this stuff. It's not an option, man. And by the way, to all the critics out there, if you've never listened to my show and the hundreds of episodes we've done about my concerns about unregulated AI use, just please stop. You don't know what you're talking about. There's no one more concerned than me. I'm also concerned about getting dead if we lose this fight, and you will. And I don't want you to get dead. Speaking of not getting dead, and what is an unintentional segue about not getting dead, but you know I love these Maha moments in the show. There we go. Who did that picture of RFK? Is that you? That's a little like RFK, but if you want, you can take that one. That's a really nice picture they did of you there. You guys you gave him a few extra inches in the chest, I can tell. He's pretty jacked. How old is he, do you know? Is he in the 70s yet? Who in the chat knows? I think he's in his 70s, right? He looks pretty good. 72, damn. 72. I remember 72 when we were kids. Who's 50 or older? You remember what 72 looked like when we were kids? Man, 72 was rough. We didn't have all the science and technology right now. Like people who were in their 50s look like they were the 70-year-olds today. They just got beat up bad, man. God bless our grandparents. They lived in a tough world, man. They were Depression era and everything. But you know, I love these Maha moments. I'm obsessed with the cold plunge. I do it every morning. I will say, if you've got like heart problems or medical condition, the cold plunge is probably not for you. But the Maha movement is a huge portion of the MAGA movement now going forward, and no one's happier about it than me. It is way past time. You know, the whole idea of like faith, family, and community, well, you're part of all that. You have faith, you're the head of your family, and you're part of your community. If you're not healthy, you're going to get dead. So the Maha movement's part of all of that. I love the cold plunge, but there's a part about the cold plunge outside of what I think are the benefits of cold shock proteins and elsewhere. I go in for 3 minutes every morning, 47 degrees. It sucks every morning. It is awful, awful. I walk out of my house. It's dark. I get up at 6 now. I'm in that thing by 6:10 usually. I drink some hydrogen water, and then I go in. It is the most miserable 3 minutes of my life. Horrible. However, I swear by it. Here's, you're going to see this scientist first, and then David Goggins and Andrew Huberman talking about why the cold plunge is not just good for the body, but is unbelievably good for the mind, your will to live, your willpower, all of it. This is really good. Check this out.
Ice bath is one of the best things that you can do for your brain.
This is one of the most important discoveries that neuroscience has ever made. There's a brain structure called the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. There are now a lot of data in humans when people do anything that they don't want to do. Like if you love the ice bath, I love the ice bath, and you go from 1 minute to 10 minutes, guess what? Your anterior mid-cingulate cortex did not grow.
None.
But if you hate the cold water,
There is no part of me right now that wants to do this, which is why I'm doing it.
then the anterior mid-cingulate cortex gets bigger. But if you don't do it the next day, or if you do it the next day and you enjoy it, because hey, I did it yesterday, woohoo, the anterior mid-cingulate cortex shrinks again.
Yep. So when I wake up in the morning, I don't dress warm.
Right.
I wear my fucking underwear and I go outside and I lift the lid on that Morozco cold plunge and I see the fucking ice floating up in there. And every day I climb in. Well, how's it working? It's working.
And in people that live a very long time, this area keeps its size. In many ways, scientists are starting to think of the anterior mid-cingulate cortex not just as one of the seats of willpower,
Right.
but perhaps actually the seat of the will to live.
See, now we're talking.
Now we're talking is right. You see a little clip of Joe Rogan, who's a big cold plunge advocate. So is Dana White from the UFC. Listen, I'm not your doctor. Seriously, with the cold plunge, before you start jumping in there, definitely get a checkup because there have been some issues with people with heart trouble. People without, it's generally can be pretty safe, but you definitely got to check first. I'm just telling you, it changed my life. People ask me about health hacks all the time. I've got tons of them. Sauna uses, collagen, creatine, feel the grinch. A healthy diet, obviously working out. I get it. This cold plunge changed my life. It really did. The dopamine surge you get out of it lasts all day. I don't even drink coffee for about 2 hours after I get up. I come in the office. Jasmine buys me these, the blackout cold brew thingies or whatever we have. And I just guzzle one of those babies. That's not for like 2 hours or so. Time for my air squats. Ada Ray in the chat. Yes, 100 air squats a day too. All right, folks, listen, we got an important race in Kentucky. You pick who you want Kentucky for. I'm not here to tell you who to vote for. You got the Massey primary. Personally, I like Ed. Ed's a nice guy, but it's up to you guys to choose. I'm just telling you, the power of the Trump endorsement, the MAGA movement is real. You know, we are a big open tent, but don't come in the tent and shit all over the place. I'm really sorry. If you're not going to acknowledge the stuff that's going on to work, people like me, you, and others who've been building this movement for 10 years did, and you're just going to claim nothing is happening while a whole bunch of amazing things are happening and focus only on blackpilling and doomer stuff, then you're really not part of our movement. You're an op, and everybody knows you're an op. But pick who you want. We'll be covering that tomorrow. Results will obviously be out on Wednesday, so we'll see what happens. But the Trump endorsement, it's the only endorsement in the business that honestly matters. No one votes for endorsements except for his. It's been really powerful. We'll see what happens in that race. Folks, thanks again for tuning in. We got Haley coming up. Bubbles, the purple dinosaur. Oh, I did get it right the first time, Barney, right? I don't know. All I remember sharing is sharing. Who did that during the show? Josh, because he just creeped in looking all guilty. Bubbles, the dinosaur. Haley coming up at noon, rumble.com/Haley. Vince had another killer audience at 8 a.m. Join him live, rumble.com/Vince for Vince Colonnese. Love that show. And please download the Rumble app. It is free. Give us a follow while you're there. Or you can watch on the web, rumble.com/Bongino. Also free. Doesn't matter how you watch. You can watch on your TV, on the app too. That's how I watch it. Click that follow button. I will see you back here tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in.
I'm Haley Caradia,
host of Vince,
host of Scrolling with Haley.
You can always catch my show right here
on the Bongino Report.
Live, 8 a.m. Eastern, weekday mornings.
Weekdays at noon. If you miss it, no worries. The show will always be
right here
and anywhere you find podcasts. Thanks for watching.